I think there are some countries in the region. First and foremost, we always have to make sure that our support for Israel is unequivocal. That we always stand with our friend and ally in the Middle East, the country in that region that stands out as a beacon of freedom, and a place where people of all faiths are welcome, and where the equality of all individuals is fundamental. That's essential. And any threat to that, Canada needs to be not just a strong voice, but actually has to be a meaningful partner in pushing back against. I think there's some opportunities with other countries that have seen the threat of terrorism in their own country. Some countries like Jordan, I think it's important to engage with Pakistan, another member of the Commonwealth that is facing a lot of internal challenges, that Canada can continue to play a role in helping that country to fight against some of the radicalization that's going on within its own borders. So there's lots of opportunities for Canada to be engaged, and I fundamentally reject the liberal approach of trying to normalize relations with the one country in the region that there is a growing consensus is a destabilizing force. Even countries that have traditionally been allied with Iran in previous years now recognize the threat that it poses to peace and security in the region. The fact that the Liberals are focusing their diplomatic efforts on normalizing relations with Iran, to me, is incomprehensible. There are so many other opportunities for us to play a role in the region that won't force us to have normal relations with a state that does not believe in Israel's right to exist, that has proven to be a destabilizing force in many, many countries in the region, and that actively promotes and sponsors terrorism all around the world. A future Conservative government under my leadership will be a strong voice in support of Israel. Israel is our friend and ally, and it stands out as a beacon of freedom and equality in that region. There are other opportunities to work with countries that want to see a more stable region. We can work with countries like Jordan and others that recognize the threat of terrorism. But what's really hard for me to understand is the approach of the Liberal government to normalize relations with Iran. There's a growing consensus, not just around the world, but even particularly in the Middle East, that Iran is a destabilizing factor, that it is actively engaged in promoting terrorist acts, that it does not recognize Israel's right to exist, that it is not interested in the same goals of peace and security that more and more states in the region are interested in achieving. So for the government to focus on normalizing relations with a country that does not share any of our common values and goals is completely incomprehensible to me. Our foreign policy should be based on principles, and that principle should be standing up for our allies, promoting peace, tolerance, democracy, and equality, and Iran does not fit into that under the current regime.